Hey kids, it's Tony again. Back at it with another banger of a video, obviously. And this time, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite games recently. One I hold at very high regards and superb standards. I hope you guys are ready. But before the video begins, I'd like to ask everyone a good favor, if they could. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure to like and subscribe. And also, check out all the links below, join the Discord, or come to my Twitch, my stream over there. And, thank you. Just thanks for still watching me. So let's start the video, shall we? I'm a pretty simple, easy guy. There are a lot of games out there that have that survival crafting multiplayer skin attached to them that really catch my eye and stick, just like the one video I talked about previously with V Rising. I usually always go for the ones not a lot of people have heard of. My two favorite games throughout my childhood and teenage years that have a lot of interesting concepts and really cool things about them were HalfLife and SCP Containment Breach. In HalfLife, you played Gordon Freeman, and the scientists were just kind of there. They either helped you out, or gave you health, or they tell you where to go next for the story. What I really liked about HalfLife. At SCP Containment Breach, you play as a D-class, trying to escape the containment breach, obviously. And you see the scientists either dead, or you run into them dying. Typical science behavior. But have you ever thought about what would happen if you took those two games and mixed them together? Yeah, that's pretty much Abiotic Factor. You play as a scientist trying to escape a breach/cascade incident, and the game is made in the style that reminds you a lot of how Half-Life 1 looked. I booted up the demo when it was available, and I fell in love with it immediately. When the demo ended, I was sad, because of that urge to want to see more. They cut you off right before the manufacturing sector, and I was begging for more. The second the dev team offered to hand out keys to creators, I contacted my buddy Icy Guy, and we all got a copy. And they gave us codes to give our friends so they can join us. Shout out to the dev team, by the way. That was really cool of them. There's something about Abiotic that just strikes a chord with me. I don't know if it's because all my friends go with the bit of being different doctors of the facility. Like, we've got the wonderful Dr. Touchgrass, the exciting but eccentric Dr. Gring, the weird but odd Dr. Furniture, some guy who calls himself HR, but he's really a janitor, and, of course, Officer Bottom, and myself included, Dr. Fingerbottom. Or it could be due to the fact the game makes me want to know more. The lore and the areas of the game keep me interested and hooked. But I think the biggest thing for me is that it's literally Half-Life and SCP mixed into one game. And you're playing as the scientists instead of a single protagonist trying to be the big guy, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it just struck a chord with me or not, but the enemies and the portals and the worlds and just, they're so unique from one another and just so cool. I won't spoil anything. I want everyone to experience it for themselves like the first time like I did. Unless you're HR janitor and you nearly softlock us for 2 hours because you don't share your ideas with everybody. Yeah, I'm calling you up, butthead. Alright. That's enough me glazing the game and how much I love it. Let's actually go ahead and start talking about it. So, when you start a new save in Abiotic Factor, solo, or with your friends, you have a bunch of professions or jobs you can pick from. Even a blank slate. What is it? I think it's the assistant or the lab. I don't remember what the fuck it is called. I didn't pick it. A lot of these professions are the jobs that are like you would see around a facility of this caliber, but you aren't limited to every skill in the game. You just get XP bonuses tied to what they offer. It's pretty neat. I ended up picking a somatic astrologist. It's basically the chef role, and I make some awesome soups. Trust me, you would love some Dr. Fingerbottom soups. They're really good. The crafting system in this game is just really cool, too. You play a little mini-game where you have to guess what you need to use to craft the item, and it'll unlock. Did I forget to mention there's also a pooping and sleeping mini-game? Yes, this is a real thing. And I love it. Also, I forgot to mention, when you're selecting your job, you have a choice of a perk, or perk points, excuse me, to pick some positive or negative traits to give you more points to use in your positive traits. It's like it's kind of like Project Zomboid, where you have every time you spend points on a positive trait, you get negative points you have to use on a negative trait. It's actually kind of pretty balanced. The game itself, at the time of writing this video, is pretty massive. I've sunk in close to 100 hours into the game, and we're currently waiting for the 1.0 release to come out so we can finish the game. And I'm pretty excited to see the ending. It's got me on the edge of my seat. The different areas of the game are all unique and cool. Well, as well with a rise in difficulty, of course, and different enemies for each one the further you progress, but I don't want to spoil everything like that. Even though you're seeing some gameplay of pretty basic enemies in the background, except we're pretty far in, so there's some later enemies that show up in the earlier areas, so I do apologize about that. You won't know what they are, though. Listen, you're going to hear me say this a lot. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the best part, and honestly, everything about this game, it's just fantastic. I'll be 100% real with all of you. But really, the best part of the game is the portal worlds themselves, or the game's what they call them, the Antiverses. The first set of Antiverse portals you go to set the stable of how all the portal worlds are going forward, you know. Except, you know, with the exception of the one, they're all unique and they're cool in their own way. Even the event ones they've made, like the Halloween one, is awesome. Again, I'd love to go through each one and tell everyone about it, but the best part about this game is finding everything out and experiencing everything for the first time. It's what made me love it so much. I'll talk about one, and that's one of the few portal worlds you'll be finding in the beginning of the game, and that's Flat Hill. Flat Hill is almost just like Silent Hill, but these giant monsters roam the area called composers that are reoccurring entities throughout the game, and as far as I'm aware, they're unkillable. After opening up the portal world, the facility will occasionally have an event where a fog from Flat Hill will fill the area, and enemies called Symphonis, I don't know how to say that word, but they'll appear, and these can be killed. They're pretty tough though, but they drop some good stuff. The entities from these worlds are given a designation, just like SCPs, but they're called ISs, or Immermit subjects. I think that's how you say that word. I'm gonna be real, I think it's made up. It might not be. I could be totally wrong. I can go on and on about the other Antiverses, but again, I'd rather you guys experience this for yourselves, because they just get better the more you go in. Honestly, some of them are just really cool. I know I'm kind of jumping all around the place, and I apologize, because I just really want to sell the idea that this game is awesome. But did I tell you the game is rich with lore and audio logs and many NPCs that are voiced that can be easily overlooked? I've forgotten a lot of it since we've been starting to play. You know, for almost a year at this point, on and off, because we always have to wait for the updates. But you can listen to audio logs, read emails, and find documents around the facility that talk about everyday lives of the employees and the work they do around the facility. A lot of it is really fascinating, and I cannot express how good the lore is for each IS, Antiverse, and the zones that they're all respectively come from. I didn't get to mention this part in my last video about V Rising, but I think having 5 other friends to play with this game is just purely amazing.
Okay, I'm good.
Oh, you seem to be wounded.
Sorry, I stole your spot.
You know, you seem to be wounded too.
Guys, that's a redacted grenade. Oh, Dr. Greg! Dr. Greg! Holy shit! I've had a group of friends I play with, and we all do an RP bit where we're all doctors, like I mentioned previously. It truly enhances the gameplay, and the in-game voice isn't terrible either. There are radios you can use, and there's a pager system that you can find each other with. It's pretty cool. The multiplayer experience for Abiotic Factor is truly fantastic, and it's one of the big selling points I try to tell people when they buy the game. Also, how foolish of me. How could I forget the most greatest thing about any survival crafting game? That's the base building. It's pretty simple at base value. See what I did there? Yeah, I know it's stupid. But you've got all these basics, from the crafting benches to repair benches to base defenses. The power system's a bit odd to me still, but I finally understand how it works after all this time. And at every night cycle, the facility power goes offline, and you rely on battery sources to keep things powered. Granted, you can make a night cycle go faster by sleeping, but overall, I enjoy everything about the base building and the crafting. The bench upgrades are also really nice. Being able to add your crafting bench to like the ability to use items that are nearby chests and make it so it'll keep you warm, and so that whenever you're near the crafting bench, you'll be healed. It's pretty nice and cool, honestly. Now, this is a touchy subject because Dr. Touchgrass will have my nuts if I touch his plants, but the gardening system in this game is pretty easy and fun as well. Okay, Touchgrass, that's all I'm saying about it. I promise I won't touch your plants, okay? Please don't kill me. You know, I almost completely forgot to talk about the combat. The combat's pretty simple. You got melee weapons, ranged weapons, and throwables, which all have different skill trees tied to them. Oh yeah, I forgot to, to mention, the massive skill tree. I already showed you that. There are a lot of skills to progress in this game, and they're all great. But I think the combat in this game is pretty simple, and it does the job well. So I can't really say much about the combat, other than it's got a thing for everybody. Should you get Abiotic Factor? That's simple. Yeah, you should. Should you buy your friends Abiotic Factor, or should your friends buy Abiotic Factor? Duh. Seriously, this game is literally game of the year for me. I've never enjoyed a game so much for its aesthetic, look, and gameplay so much like I have with Abiotic Factor. The enemies, the monsters, the Antiverses, the NPCs, just all of it. Truly one of the greatest experiences I've had playing with my buddies, and shout out to them because they probably made this game way more fun than it needed to be. So thanks guys, I really appreciate you. I'll put all the content creators that I play with down in the link below, or the description below, so you guys can go check them out. They're all fantastic people. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed my content so far. Remember to like and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to check out all my other links as well. I did make a little special homage thing. I didn't know where to put it in the video. It's kind of really not greatly edited, but I really like Black Mesa, and the soundtrack for Black Mesa really sticks with me, especially in this game. So here's a little outro thingy I have for Abiotic. And remember, stay awesome, everybody, and have a good day and good night, whatever time you're watching this.